Gotham, a city of shadows, a city of stories, and for many of us, a city that felt alive thanks to what Telltale Games brought to the table. But behind the veneer of dramatic storytelling, branching narratives, and the familiar suit of the Caped Crusader lies something far more troubling. The future of the Telltale Batman series is uncertain. Today we dive into the shocking truth, where this franchise stands, where it might go, and why those choices matter. Not just for fans of Batman, but for anyone who cares about narrative-led gaming. Let's rewind back in 2016. Telltale released Batman, the Telltale Series, putting us in the dual shoes of Bruce Wayne and Batman, an opportunity that many adaptations don't afford. The game leaned into choice. Will you be the Dark Knight who punishes, or the relentless vigilante who redeems? As Telltale put it, then came Batman, the Enemy Within, 2017, widely regarded as a stronger follow-up. It introduced the agency, brought new characters, deepened the psyche of Bruce Wayne, and teased a future of branching narratives with real stakes. So at this point, promise, a beloved license, Telltale strengthens in episodic story games, the potential for something big, but all was not smooth in Gotham. The original Telltale Games studio collapsed in 2018 amid well-documented issues with crunch, toxic work culture, and severe mismanagement. That's relevant because the Batman series sat in a larger ecosystem of licensed narrative games by Telltale. The collapse meant the future of many of those licenses, including Batman, became murky. When the studio folded, rights were shuffled. And although the Batman Telltale games have been re-released via the Shadows edition, actual new content has been mostly silent. What this means? Even though the narrative world exists, the production realities, licensing, staffing, studio stability, threaten any obvious continuation. Here's where things get interesting. Fans have been asking, will there be a Season 3? Will Telltale revisit Batman's world again? On Reddit, one user put it bluntly, I don't know if this has been announced yet or not, but there's still so much potential for further seasons in Batman. And yes, there's talk. There are articles like 5 things I want in a third Telltale Batman season, yet nothing definitive has emerged. Why? Because there are 3 major obstacles: licensing, studio capacity, and story momentum. For licensing, the Batman property is enormous. Warner DC have to approve the Telltale brand has to be viable. Studio capacity? The original Telltale is gone. The new entity doesn't seem to have committed to Batman, at least publicly, in any meaningful way. Story momentum. The Enemy Within left many open threads, but also maybe the sense that a satisfying closure was delivered. That complicates launching just another season. Okay, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the Telltale Batman saga so far, take a second to hit subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and drop a comment below. What would you want in a hypothetical Season 3 of Telltale's Batman? The most interesting suggestion might get a shout out in the next video. Your thoughts help shape what we talk about next, so I genuinely love to hear them. And hey, while you're at it, smash that like button if you're a Batman fan, and share this with someone who still hopes for Telltale to return to Gotham. Now let's map out what a future for Telltale Batman could look like, and where it might fail. The potential story beats. Introduction of Dick Grayson, Robin. Many fans have called for it. A deeper dive into the Wayne legacy, Arkham history, and the Children of Arkham. More robust branching. Big what-ifs such as Bruce Wayne dies, Batman rises, or Robin takes over. Potential production risks though. If the new Telltale lacks the budget or talent to deliver cinematic branching narratives, the series could feel second-rate. Licensing or IP conflict if Warner DC decide Batman belongs in another format, like console, action games, or movie tie-ins, instead of episodic narrative, Telltale's version may be sidelined. Fan expectations. After high marks for the Enemy Within, anything lesser may suffer reputation damage. Here's the surprising bit. It's not impossible. In fact, the groundwork is there. Narrative capability, fan desire, a library of choices. But the shocking truth is that everything hinges on corporate decisions, not just creative ones. The fate of Telltale's Batman isn't a matter of will they or haven't they, it's whether the business aligns. Warner DC approves, Telltale commits, budgets are allocated, and a development rhythm is established. And right now, publicly at least, we don't have that alignment. So while you might want a Season 3, you shouldn't expect it, at least not in the near term. Some signs of hopeful movement. The re-release of The Shadows Within shows the license is active, but there's no announcement, no teaser, no roadmap. Essentially, fans are deafeningly quiet in the waiting room, and the door seems locked from the outside. If Telltale does return to Batman, this is what you as a fan should hold them to. Depth of choice. It must be meaningful, not just cosmetic. The original Telltale Batman promised your Batman across the spectrum. Ownership of story. Your decisions should ripple. We saw that to some extent, but there were moments where the linear kicked back in. Respect for the mythos. Batman has decades of lore. If Telltale goes in, they should incorporate the richness, characters like Nightwing, Red Hood, beyond the obvious rogues. Why it matters beyond Batman? Because narrative adventure games are at a crossroads. The Telltale model changed gaming in the 2010s. If Batman, a major license, can't find a clear path forward, it sends a signal to the whole genre. Big licensed narrative games may be harder to sustain than we thought. Now let's talk about variables that could either open the door or slam it shut. Want a DC strategic direction? If they decide to centralize all major Batman games under a big budget, action developer and push Telltale's style into smaller scale or mobile, the episodic model could vanish. Telltale's internal restructuring. If the revived Telltale doesn't stabilize with a creative and financial foundation, even if they get the license, execution could be weak, which would damage the brand. Fan engagement. If the community values this model enough to drive demand through streaming, nostalgia, remasters, there's more incentive to make it happen. The Reddit thread I mentioned earlier shows the desire is still strong. Technology shift. Narrative games now compete with open-world cinematic experiences. If Telltale wants to stay relevant, they may need to evolve beyond the point-and-click episodic norm. That raises cost and risk. So, where does that leave us? At the intersection of hope and reality. Telltale Batman series could absolutely return. In fact, from a narrative viewpoint, it should return. But the reality? No guarantee, and possibly not in the form you might hope. And if we want it to come back strong, we as fans need to hold the vision, demand depth, demand quality, and understand that it's not just about will we get more Batman, but how we get it. In the meantime, revisit the original games, engage with the community, and keep asking the hard questions. Because sometimes the best stories don't just happen, they're demanded. Thanks for sticking around for the full breakdown. If you enjoyed this, you know what to do. Subscribe, comment your Dream Season 3 concept, like the video, and share it with another Batman fan who's wondering the same thing. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay curious, and keep looking behind the mask.